Why stay with the simple farmer like Uzoma? With your beauty, you could attract any of Salim's royal friends,
she remarked, hinting at the possibility of linking her up with wealthier suitors.
Imagine the life you could have.
Abena smiled gently, stirring the pot on the fire as she spoke.
I love Uzoma, Zalika. He might be a farmer, but he's my dream man.
Once upon a time, in the northern part of Ghana, in a place called Dagbon, there lived two sisters named Abena and Zalika. They came from a simple farming family. Abena was the older sister, 24 years old, and was known for being very hardworking and kind. Zalika, who was 21, often dreamt of a life filled with riches and luxury, where she wouldn't have to work at all. Zalika always said she would marry a rich prince so she could live in comfort. Because of this dream, she avoided helping with any house chores, much to her family's disappointment. They tried to tell her that it's important to be able to take care of oneself, but Zalika didn't listen. One morning, their mother, Aisatu, asked Zalika to prepare a meal while she and Abena worked on the farm. Zalika refused, stubbornly holding on to her dream of marrying into royalty and having servants to do such work. Her mother was upset and tried to explain that even in wealth, personal skills are valuable. Zalika dismissed her mother's advice. As luck would have it, Zalika's wish came true when she met Prince Salim, a wealthy prince from the kingdom of Tamale. They married quickly, and Zalika moved into a grand palace. Despite her new life, Prince Salim expected Zalika to contribute to their home by cooking, as his mother did. Zalika, not knowing how to cook, secretly had the maids prepare the food, pretending it was her doing. One day, Prince Salim came home early and asked Zalika to teach him how to make a soup he particularly liked. Zalika panicked as she led him into the kitchen, revealing that she couldn't cook at all. Salim was disappointed to learn the truth and felt deceived. He left the kitchen without a word. Zalika felt very alone in their big, beautiful palace. The palace had everything she could wish for, but without Salim's smile, it felt empty and sad. She wandered through the large halls, listening to the sounds of the palace staff working together. At the kitchen door, she stopped to watch. Inside, the cooks and helpers were busy but happy, laughing and talking as they worked. They seemed like friends, helping each other and sharing jokes. The head chef noticed her and waved her in with a friendly smile.
"Come and see how we do things here, my lady,"
he said cheerfully. Zalika stepped inside and watched. One helper was mixing spices, another was stirring a big pot of what smelled like delicious jollof rice. They worked so well together, and they looked happy. Seeing this made Zalika think. She realized that what made these people happy was not riches, but working together and caring for each other, something she had never really done. She went back to her room and sat down by the window, looking out at the garden. Prince Salim had stopped visiting her chambers. He withdrew his affection and trust, deeply hurting her. Zalika, feeling the sting of loneliness and regret in the grand palace, remembered her sister Abena's wisdom and kindness. With a heavy heart, she went to Abena, hoping to learn not just cooking, but also how to truly connect with others and appreciate the simpler joys of life. Abena, who was happily married to Uzoma, welcomed Zalika with open arms into her humble home. Each morning, Zalika arrived eager to learn the art of cooking, motivated by her desire to regain Prince Salim's love, affection, and trust. As they cooked, Zalika couldn't help but notice the simplicity and happiness that filled her sister's life despite the lack of luxury. One day, while they were preparing a meal, Zalika questioned Abena's choice in life.
Why stay with the simple farmer like Uzoma? With your beauty, you could attract any of Salim's royal friends,
she remarked, hinting at the possibility of linking her up with wealthier suitors.
Imagine the life you could have.
Abena smiled gently, stirring the pot on the fire as she spoke.
I love Uzoma, Zalika. He might be a farmer, but he's my dream man. Every day with him is filled with love and respect, something no amount of money can buy.
Zalika scoffed initially, unable to understand her sister's contentment. But as days passed, she observed the deep bond between Abena and Uzoma. He helped in the kitchen, shared laughter with her, and supported her in every task. Despite his humble means, Uzoma cherished Abena, treating her with a love that was pure and sincere. Jealousy began to creep into Zalika's heart, seeing the genuine happiness that eluded her own life. She noticed that though they lacked riches, there was an abundance of love, peace, and trust in Abena's family, qualities her own life sorely lacked. In a misguided attempt to disrupt this harmony, Zalika started spreading rumors to Uzoma. She whispered lies about Abena, suggesting she flirted with others and considered leaving him for one of the wealthy royals.
Abena is a beauty, and it's only natural she might think about better prospects.
Zalika insinuated, trying to plant seeds of doubt in Uzoma's mind. Uzoma, shaken by these claims, struggled with disbelief. He cherished Abena deeply and wondered how he had been fortunate enough to win her love. Uzoma couldn't shake the haunting thoughts that maybe there was truth to Zalika's words. The thought of losing her tormented him, and amidst his confusion, he confronted Abena, leading to a painful but brief separation. Abena, Uzoma finally voiced his fears one evening, his voice tense with contained emotion.
The things Zalika said, I need to know. Is there any truth to them?
Abena, taken aback by the accusation, felt a pang of hurt.
Uzoma, do you truly believe I could be unfaithful? Have I ever given you reason to doubt my love for you?
The pain in her voice made Uzoma pause. He struggled internally, his love for Abena warring with the poisonous doubts.
I don't want to believe it, Abena, but her words were so convincing. It's been eating at me, and I don't know how to just ignore it.
Seeing the turmoil in Uzoma's eyes, Abena realized the depth of the rift Zalika's lies had caused.
Let's seek counsel, she suggested. Perhaps speaking to someone wise can help clear these dark clouds between us.
Together, they visited the village elder, a woman known for her wisdom and fairness. After listening to their troubles, she offered her advice.
Trust is delicate. It can be clouded by fears and shattered by lies. But look into your hearts. See the years you've spent building your life together, and ask yourselves if those moments hold less truth than the words of one who might harbor her own sorrows and regrets.
Her words struck a chord with both Uzoma and Abena. They spent days discussing their feelings, slowly unpacking the layers of misunderstanding and hurt. Abena's consistent openness and Uzoma's willingness to confront his doubts gradually restored their trust. Meanwhile, Zalika, observing the deepening sorrow her actions had caused, felt a growing remorse. Witnessing her sister's pain and the disruption in her marital harmony, she realized the destructive power of envy and lies. In the quiet of Abena's kitchen, as they cleaned up after a meal, Zalika hesitated before finally speaking.
Abena, I don't know how to begin to apologize for the lies I told. I was jealous, and I hurt you deeply.
Abena set down the dish she was drying and turned to face her sister.
Zalika, your words wounded me and almost shattered my marriage. But I see the remorse in your eyes. Tell me, what have you learned from this?
Zalika took a deep breath, her heart heavy.
I've learned that envy blinds us to our blessings. Uzoma's love, which I envied so much, isn't about wealth or status. It's about the peace and joy you share. I want to find that peace, not disrupt it.
Abena listened intently, then slowly nodded.
Forgiveness isn't easy, Zalika, but I see your desire to change. We all deserve a chance to correct our mistakes.
Zalika reached out, taking her sister's hands in hers.
Thank you, Abena. I promise to make things right, not just with words, but with actions. Let's move forward together.
Abena said, squeezing her hands.
Family is about forgiveness and growth.
The confession was a painful shock to Uzoma, but overhearing the truth from Zalika began the final healing process. They forgave Zalika, understanding that her actions, though harmful, stemmed from her struggles and insecurities. The couple's love, now tested, grew stronger, proving that trust and understanding were the true foundations of their bond. Zalika felt a burden lift from her shoulders, but she knew her path to redemption was just beginning. Determined to prove her sincerity, Zalika threw herself into learning not only about cooking, but also about the various tasks that kept the community thriving. She spent days with Abena, learning how to tend to a vegetable garden and even trying her hand at the local craft of basket weaving. As the seasons changed, so did Zalika. She volunteered to help organize the village's seasonal festivals, which were crucial for community bonding and celebration of their collective hard work. During the planning of the Harvest Festival, Zalika worked alongside the village elders, learning the traditions and stories that had been passed down through generations. One afternoon, while preparing decorations for the festival, she found herself surrounded by a group of curious children. "Tell us a story, Miss Zalika," they chimed, their eyes wide with anticipation. Zalika smiled, a sense of belonging warming her heart. She wove a tale not of princes and palaces, but of a lost girl who found her way back home through the kindness of her community. As she spoke, the elders listened, nodding approvingly at her newfound humility and grace. Through these months, Zalika's transformation became the talk of the village. People who had once whispered about her airs and graces now spoke of her sincerity and hard work. Even the skeptics had to admit that the change in her was profound and genuine. The sisters spent long afternoons together, sharing stories and laughter, something they hadn't done since their childhood. This rekindled bond brought joy not only to them, but also to their parents, who had longed to see their daughters united in harmony. Meanwhile, Zalika knew she had to face Prince Salim and show him the woman she had become. One evening, she invited him to a simple dinner at her parents' home. The table was set under the open sky, and Zalika served dishes she had prepared herself. Salim arrived skeptical but curious. As they ate, Zalika nervously broke the silence.
Salim, I know words may not be enough to express my regret for the past, but I hope this meal, prepared by my own hands, shows my commitment to change,
she said, her voice steady but soft. Prince Salim looked at her, his expression unreadable for a moment before he replied,
Zalika, seeing you embrace a simpler life and take responsibility has surprised me. I admit, I doubted if you could ever change.
Zalika nodded, accepting his honesty.
I understand why you felt that way. I was lost in my dreams of grandeur, failing to see the beauty in genuine effort and care.
Salim paused, tasting the food before him, then looked up with a slight smile.
This is delicious, Zalika. It's not just the food, but knowing you made it, that makes it special.
Encouraged, Zalika continued,
I want to build our life on truth and effort, Salim. Not just in the kitchen, but in all aspects of our life together. Can you give me another chance?
I would like that,
Salim said, reaching across the table to gently take her hand.
Let's rebuild, slowly and honestly.
Over time, their relationship, built now on mutual respect and understanding, slowly mended. As the stars began to twinkle in the evening sky, Zalika and Abena sat together, feeling peaceful after all they had gone through. They were thankful for how things turned out, and Zalika felt ready to talk about what they had learned. Abena, she said quietly.
I've learned so much from everything that happened.
Abena smiled and encouraged her to share more.
First, I learned that being honest and humble is really important, Zalika explained, looking up at the stars. Admitting our mistakes and being real about who we are can help fix things and make us understand each other better.
Abena nodded and added,
And forgiving each other. It's not just about making things right, but it also brings us peace and makes us stronger. Forgiving you helped us become close again, and it felt good.
Zalika took a deep breath, feeling the importance of her next words.
I also realized that it's important to do things for yourself. Relying on others for everything isn't good. Learning to cook and work on the farm made me feel useful and proud. And we shouldn't be jealous of what others have.
Abena said,
Being jealous almost ruined everything. We should be happy for others and be thankful for what we have. We should always try to be better on our own, not by making others feel less important.
The sisters thought about how these lessons weren't just for them, but for everyone in their village. They planned to talk about these things at the next village meeting, hoping to inspire others with their story of making up, learning, and growing stronger together. So, Zalika and Abena lived their lives full of love and new wisdom. Their story, shared with everyone, showed how important it is to be honest, forgiving, self-reliant, and kind. Their experience helped them and their community to understand the power of living a good and meaningful life. The end.